Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. It's Bigg Vic TV. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. Give me a thumbs up just for the intro.
What's up, guys? It's Tommy Bigg Vic, and we are back in the building with another video today. I am super excited to have these gentlemen. We are going to be talking about factoring, and I have one of the giants in the factoring space, also known as OTR Capital. If you guys have done any research at all, you'll know this company is one of the top factoring companies. What we're going to do is break down factoring completely for you guys that may still have questions about what factoring company you should be rolling with. Just factoring, period. What is factoring? So I have Wade and also have Gary from OTR Capital. We're going to jump right into this, guys. How you guys doing today?
I like it, Vic. I appreciate the introduction. We appreciate the time, my man. I'm Wade. This is Gary. So, we're OTR Capital. I'm on the sales side of things. I help you guys out. I bring you guys on board. And Gary, is on the account management side of things. Go ahead and tell a little bit about yourself, Gary.
Yeah, I'm Gary. Nice to meet you all today. I've been on a lot of videos, normally on our YouTube channel, but excited to be with Vic today here on his platform. So for us here at OTR, of course, we are the 1 to 5 trucker. That's our bread and butter, making sure we can service those clients. So we're excited to be on today, educate you, share a little bit of knowledge, and see what you have for us today as well, Vic. I've been doing it now for 6+ years, been in the business, so been able to see a lot on the factoring side, been able to see OTR grow a lot as well. So I'm just excited to share a little bit of what I've learned over those years.
Awesome.
Yep. Absolutely. I like it. I've been with OTR for about going on 4 years now. So I've never thought I'd be in the transportation industry, but I love it. So it's crazy. I don't see myself leaving anytime soon.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, right.
Welcome to the club. All right, so here's the deal. Oh man,
what we got?
One of you guys, just explain what is factoring. What is factoring? Break that down in as plain English for new people.
Terms, right?
Yes, please.
Absolutely, man. Factoring essentially, right, is just purchase of receivables, right? You do a job, someone doesn't pay you for that job immediately, they'll pay you down the road. A factoring company will pay you immediately, and then we'll collect from whoever hired you for that job, right?
Yep.
And the transportation side of things, right? A carrier, you're going to run a load for a broker. A broker's not going to pay you for 15, 30, 45 days. A factoring company will pay you immediately, and then we worry about collecting from that broker on y'all's behalf, right? So we're making sure you guys are paid as the carrier. You guys are paid immediately. That's right. Like the kind of layman's terms.
Right. That's very important.
Absolutely. Especially starting out, right? As a newer career, you don't necessarily have that capital on deck to kind of float. Take your truck breaks down. You're gonna need cash for that. So many things happen where you're gonna have all these invoices outstanding, and we want to make sure that we can get you guys paid immediately, and you're not having to wait 30, 45 days to get that cash in your pocket.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
No, we try to keep it a little simple.
Okay. I guess a lot of people's main concern is contracts with factoring companies, or what's the right factoring company to go with, like
or what kind, maybe the right type of factoring program, right?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary, you kind of want to.
Yeah, so I'll jump in there. So, of course, the typical thing that you're going to hear is, hey, that non-recourse factoring program, let me get that. Mm-hmm. So a lot of carriers hear about that program, and it sounds very appealing to them, and that's typically what they're going to want to go for. Outside of the non-recourse program, there's going to be a recourse program as well. Some factoring companies will also kind of pitch it as a hybrid. So with all of those different types that you might hear, you might be asking, what's best for me? What's best for my business? It's always going to depend on what you're looking for. The biggest thing is going to be asking yourself when it comes to non-recourse or recourse is how much are you willing to input when it comes to factoring as well. On the non-recourse side, you're not going to have to do as much work. We're going to be involved helping you a lot on the collections on the back end. Recourse, you take a little bit more responsibility with a little bit more risk. But with that, it's just like with the non-recourse and recourse, how much are you willing to put in? as well. So here at OTR, we're making sure that it is a true non-recourse program when you're going to be working with us. So what that means is if you have a good invoice, if it's clean, no damages, no claims on it, and we purchase it, you don't have to worry about that invoice coming back to you. On the recourse side, if we purchase it and let's say it reaches a set term, let's say 90-day chargeback, and it hasn't paid yet, then you're responsible for paying that invoice back. Those are going to be the typical two, your non-recourse and your recourse program. Inside of that, it can look a lot different depending on which company you're working with, but just keeping it simple to start off, those are going to be the main two that you can look for.
And I always like to say, especially for kind of like the newer authorities, right? You definitely want to make sure you're at least leaning towards or sign up for a non-recourse program, right? Because the factoring company is taking that hit if that broker goes out of business, if some invoice is not getting paid. Obviously, assuming the load is delivered cleanly, the factoring company is taking that hit, right? If you're a new authority and a $2,000 invoice charges back, that's going to hurt you a lot compared to, if you've been in the business a year or two, you've got 6-7 trucks, you're doing $200K a month. They're not too much worried about the non-recourse or recourse, because if a $2,000 invoice charges back on that $200K account, they'll be upset about it, but they'll survive, right? It's not going to. So we try and make sure our newer authority clients, are on that non-recourse program, that they're protected by that.
Right.
That safety net on if, that load's delivered cleanly and we purchase that invoice, they're not worried about that. Us coming back after them for those funds, right?
And see, that is, I think that is so critical, because that is one of the main reasons why I went with OTR Capital. And not only that, it was because I spoke to several different factoring companies before I decided to go with you guys. And I was like probably in the middle of about to sign up with the factoring company, but they wanted so much information, like social security number, my wife's social security number. I'm like, wait a minute, what is this for? And then they really just started explaining that, hey, there's a lot of fraud that happens in this business, which I understand that, but I'm a very real company. So I'm not gonna, and I didn't want to get tied up into that. Then it was, other hidden, the fine print, just some hidden fees within the fine print. Right. So I was glad when I did speak with you guys and we talked about non-recourse, and I was like, that's exactly what I needed, because what that company was telling me was, in order for it to be a non-recourse situation, they needed all this extra information, social security numbers. And I'm like, absolutely not. So I'm glad that I did not sign with that company for my factoring. And they didn't even have an app that I could use to, find out if the brokers that I would do business with, were good as far as credit wise.
Yep.
So that was another plus.
That's important too, especially for the non-recourse program, right? You're going to want to make sure, at least, on our end, before you run that load, we want to make sure that the brokers you're doing that business with are like good brokers. They're going to provide you guys with good loads. So it tells you immediately through our
Absolutely.
app. I know you've done it. You type in that MC, it lets you know right then and there if that broker's good to go or not.
Yep. And everything is done. Everything is done within the app, which makes it super, super simple. So I guess I'll let you guys kind of explain that whole app process and what a carrier would have to do to get paid once they do complete a load successfully.
Yeah, so like you mentioned already, we want to make sure that our tools and our resources are going to be super simple for our clients. So whether it's our app or our portal, we want you to have something in hand that you can use every day, whether you're on the road or you're sitting in your office at home or in your storefront. So with that, we want to make sure as well, what we expect up front. So if we're looking for the rate confirmation, if we're looking for the bill of lading, whatever it might be, we want to communicate with you up front so hey, this is what I need to get paid. We communicate in real time. If you send something over and it's not exactly what we're looking for, we're going to let you know. You'll get a ping and you'll be able to see our notes in real time, what we actually need, so you can get it there. As soon as you provide the rest of the documents as well, we can jump in there and get you paid. It's our goal. We're factoring. So we want to pay you as quickly as possible, as often as possible. That is the goal. We don't want to hold anything from you. Some other factoring companies may shy away from the communication piece and leave you kind of in the dark and you just say, what do I need? What do I need? What do I need?
Right.
Here at OTR, we want to make sure we're communicating with you on a consistent basis so you know what we are looking for. And like I mentioned as well, normally with the 3PLs, it's going to be the traditional rate con, the bill of lading to get you paid. Outside of that, there are some other, right now, for instance, mail loads. There are going to be some things that look a little bit different. You might need the tickets. You might need the 5398. So if there are things that are a little bit different than the standard move, we're going to communicate with you to let you know exactly what we're looking for so that you can get paid and do what you love doing, and that's driving and get back on the road and let us worry about the paperwork and the payments coming in.
Right. Awesome. Very, very, very important. Listen, when it comes to invoices being paid on time, once the right documents have been sent in, that is so critical to our business as carriers in this trucking space. So go ahead.
I'm gonna turn it back on you for a sec, Vic. I know that you have you're one of our clients, right? So you've kind of gone through that process of uploading documents. You know how easy it is, right? That's kind of the most important aspect, like Gary was saying, of our programs. Want to make sure the carriers get paid because that's what we're here to do.
Yep.
Right. Yes. The process is very, very simple. I mean, you upload the documents, you get the green check mark, they let you know you'll be paid the next day. So that's the most exciting part is going to check, the bank account and
the invoice turned green.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the main. Hey, green. I love green. It makes sense to me. So let me ask you guys a question. What happens if a broker does not pay? If someone is already set up with the and basically everybody that's signing up through signing up to you guys is coming in with non-recourse.
Yep, exactly. So like we might have, I don't want to say like we talked about earlier because I'm not sure where you're going to put it, but on the non-recourse side of things, our program again kind of strictly geared towards non-recourse, right? We want to put our newer authorities on our non-recourse side because if a broker doesn't pay, or if an invoice doesn't get paid, a broker takes 120 days to get us payment, we're not coming back after you as the carrier for those funds, right? And that's what a true non-recourse program does.
Right.
Assuming the loads are delivered clean.
Right.
There's no damages on the front end. Yep. And again, kind of like Gary said, we let you guys know immediately if we have any issues. If we see on that BOL that there's damages, we're gonna have a little conversation about it and be like,
Okay.
Yeah, and I would add as well, for us, it's very important if a load is not paying, we want to figure out why. So here at OTR, we do have a dedicated collections team that is going to be working on the aging that we have here at our company. If something hasn't paid, let's say, and it's past that 30-day mark, 9 times out of 10, we've already figured out, and our team has already been working on it, and we are working to recover it or working with you to figure out how we can get those funds. Like Wade mentioned as well, if it is a clean invoice, we expect that it's going to pay in a timely manner. If it's something that maybe we didn't know about, it's a surprise to us, and we let you know, kind of a surprise to you as well, then we're going to work with you to figure out if there is a way to recoup those funds. It is our business model to do our due diligence on the front end so that we can move forward. Like I tell people all the time, I don't remember what I ate last week. So I hate going back to like, hey, you remember when you turned this invoice in last month? Like, no, let's get on the front end so we can move forward and we don't have to go back. That's our business model, making sure we don't have to go back. So if it ever pops up, and I will say, from working here 6+ years, we don't have a lot of invoices that turn back and just say we couldn't collect on them. But if it does, normally, like I said, we will communicate with you and figure out what that reason is for. And if we can't solve it, we're definitely going to see if you can help us. We're go to work for you. We're going to fight for you. We want to make sure we get everything funded.
Awesome. How long has, I can't remember, you guys mentioned this in the beginning, but how long has OTR been in operation?
Yeah, so OTR has been around for 10 years, and in that 10-year mark,
only 10 years.
Yeah, only 10 years. In that 10-year mark, we've been able to do a lot. Right now, in the transportation space, we have a lot of a huge footprint in the market space. We are looking to be #1 in transportation factoring. It is our goal to be pretty aggressive to get there. We know there are some other great factoring companies in the industry, though. So some who've been here longer than we have. So I
Okay.
commend them for what they do as well. I know here at OTR, though, we want to continue to provide a product and a service for our clients that we can be proudful about and that they can brag about as well, and make sure that we're continuing to do stuff like this to go above and
Yeah.
beyond.
Absolutely.
Partnerships.
Okay. Awesome. One of the main questions some factoring companies, some mention, some don't mention, but I'm sure it's a huge question for a lot of brand new carriers. And that question is, will OTR or will my factoring company possibly help me as a new authority find loads for my truck?
So yeah, I mean, way back, like we just spoke about, we started about 10 years ago, and we kind of started from, one of the top, 5 freight brokerages in the US. And then through that, we've been able to build relationships over the years with different brokers.
Okay.
One of them being NTG. So, they're, newer authority carriers are able to kind of work with NTG as being a partner of OTR.
Okay.
They'll waive their 90-day authority requirement, and they'll work with those newer carriers immediately to help them find loads. So it's kind of one way. And then we also just partnered with the DAT load board, which honestly, one of the, maybe the biggest, I want to say, load board in the
pretty
US.
much. Yeah, pretty much.
The biggest load board in the US. What are you about to say, Gary? I can hear you. You're gearing up.
No, I'm just waiting. So DAT load board, it's huge. It's a phenomenal partnership for us. And again, it kind of started with that 1 to 5 truck space. Like, we were able to step in because of what we've been doing in the market, and they saw that, hey, this is a company that we want to partner with. I know they had a long-standing partnership before us, but now we have the opportunity to work with them. We're super grateful, and I think the clients are grateful as well, how quickly we're able to onboard them, and then once we have them here in-house, service that account. So for us, if you're on the DAT load board, you can also see that little check mark. When you see that blue check mark, that lets you know if that load is factorable. Those are going to be customers that are vetted by OTR, and we've already kind of approved them. So if you're running those are going to be ones that you can factor. So it's just partnerships like that when people are looking for loads. I love DAT load board. It is a subscription-based service, but that lets me know when somebody's investing in their business. They're kind of already setting themselves apart from the pack. They want to go above and beyond to do something to make their company beneficial. So I think that's huge. So that's one of the ways that we're able to help in that space.
And then, honestly, outside of that, pretty much everyone that's been here for an extended period of time has relationships with like different dispatchers and people in the industry. So, if any of our carriers are reaching out and like trying to find the loads, Gary doesn't mind shooting over some dispatchers. I don't mind shooting over some dispatchers, or any way that we can help, these new authorities, stay on the road, get some money. Because obviously, that's our goal too, is try to get that retention rate in the transportation industry up.
And see, I think that what you guys just mentioned about being partnered with DAT is so like instrumental for new carriers, and especially if they are getting their factoring done through OTR.
Absolutely.
Simply because it's a time saver. I know it would save me a bunch of time, because now I don't have to go open the app, do a credit check really quickly before I call this broker up, and I can just look and see if the blue check is up there. I see OTR, boom, let's call them up real quick. Yeah, I already know the factoring is good. You know what I'm saying? I already know I'm gonna get paid because I see OTRs right there in the corner, and I just really started noticing that. And when I spoke to you guys, the other day, he was like, "Yeah, we partner with them." I'm like, no wonder I started seeing, the OTR up there in the corner, and I'm like, wow, this is gonna save me so much time when it comes to booking my freight. And I think that is huge.
Absolutely. We love to hear that too, because that's exactly what we want, right? We want to be there, make sure that you guys are just on the road finding loads. You're not having to worry about, logging to the app and all that stuff that you were just talking about.
Yeah, it's very important because for time's sake, most times by the time I go do a credit check and call the broker, the load is gone already. They're like, yeah, it's already gone. So if I can just see that the minute I open that load board up, the check mark is there, I'm already on the phone. I'm dialing. Yes, I already know the factoring is good. So that's going to be a big bonus for, carriers that are looking to possibly,
Mhm.
sign up with OTR for factoring, because that's a no-brainer.
Yep.
That's what I call a no-brainer.
And like Gary said, like especially for newer authorities, like some people
Right.
get into transportation and think they're just going to be able to find loads themselves.
Right.
They don't have to worry about it. They don't want to spend any money on it. If you just invest that little bit of money into making sure, hey, you're able to get this good load board, find some good loads. I mean, it only helps you guys be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So Gary, let me ask you this question. What is another way that new carriers, new authorities can build those relationships with brokers? That's a very important question.
Yep.
That is a very important question. I'm glad you asked. If you are a carrier, you need to be asking this question. How do I build better relationships? So I'll give you a few points today. And then if you kind of have others that, you think of, maybe we'll jot them down. But these are the ones that definitely stick out to me. Number one, trust is a must. If you're going to build a successful company, it doesn't matter if you're in trucking, dispatching, or if you're, sitting on the corporate side, trust is a must. You got to be able to build trust with whoever you're working with. Secondly, you want to be a desired carrier. Do people desire to work with you? If not, how do you make somebody desire to work with you? Number one, communication. You have to communicate. Let me tell you this again. You run a business.
Absolutely.
You have to communicate, whether it's over the phone, whether it's email, you have to communicate.
Yes.
If you're not doing that one thing, start doing that today and you'll see 10x results immediately.
Exactly.
Outside of that, dependability. Are you dependable? If you say you're going to do something, can people depend on you to do what you said you're going to do? Not just in business, but in life. Like, how dependable are you? If you're not dependable, start being dependable today. The third thing is going to be maturity and professionalism. These brokers are working with a lot of people. A lot of people sometimes are like shorthand communication or just treating them like, this person doesn't matter. Relationships in this industry matter. They can go a long way. Are you professionally conducting yourself and treating yourself like a business and not just like a driver?
Right.
Treat yourself like a business. Outside of that is adaptability and flexibility. We know in trucking things change, and sometimes they change immediately.
Quick.
How well can you adapt, overcome, be flexible, and help move to the next point? Are you communicating when things change as well? If something happens and you're down at a port and they can't get you in as quickly as they thought they could, are you communicating those things back to the broker and letting them know, hey, like, we're going to have to change this appointment time? Are you being adaptable and flexible and communicating it? And then last thing, teamwork. Are you communicating like you're a part of a bigger team? When you understand that you are a part of a bigger team, well, a broker contracted you to move something that's a part of a bigger part than just you, then that changes your perspective. And you understand, I want to be a good team member, not just for myself and for the people that depend on me, but for the broker, for my factoring company, and for everybody else that's a part of this change. We are a big team. So you got to communicate from that perspective. Take care of yourself. Present yourself in a decent way. When you're showing up and you're dropping off loads, how do you look? What does your image say about you? When you get out of your truck, how do you look? When you show up for the meeting, how do you look?
How does your trust look?
Right. How does your trust look? Does it look presentable or not? If it doesn't, change it. People talk in the industry. Make sure that they're saying good things about you. And then the last thing that I would probably say, like Wade mentioned, is just that follow-up. Follow-up is going to be one of the biggest and most important things in this industry. After you deliver a load, follow up with that broker. Hey, I enjoyed delivering that load for you. You got any more? Ask them if they got something that you can move as well when you're following up as well. When do I need to start asking for a little bit more money? So sometimes you deliver 5 loads for them now. You've got everything done on time, decent and in order, no damages. Start asking for a little bit more money. Don't do that, though, until you've been consistent with the first few things. Then you can start asking for more. But those are the points that I would share. And the biggest thing that I've learned in the last 6 years as well is paperwork is your money. I can tell how you manage the rest of your business by how you manage your paperwork. I can tell from the carriers that I see if their paperwork is decent and in order. I know that probably the other aspects of their business are decent and in order. If paperwork is sloppy, they don't care about it, and they're just like, it's not that big of a deal, then there's probably other segments of their business that they think aren't that big of a deal.
Makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. I know one thing for sure, that the fortune is in the follow-up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Back to that on that follow-up too, like just like you were saying, by the time you do that broker check and do all this, the load's already gone. Sometimes we're following up with that broker that booked that load for you directly. Maybe they'll reach out to you before they put it on the load board,
right?
And you have that connection with that broker.
Yes,
moving forward, it's like
and that's
that
big.
follow-up is it's key.
Yes.
Almost in any industry, really, but definitely.
Yes,
Definitely.
that's big. All right, that was awesome. That was good. Another good question. Do I have to factor all of my invoices with my factoring company? I get that question a lot from new carriers.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I'll let the experts answer that question.
With us, while we would love, I'll be honest, we would love you to factor every single invoice with us, obviously, right? But we don't require you to, right? We want you guys to be able to grow your business how you want to. We're not going to force you to submit every invoice to OTR. It's totally up to you. Other factory companies might say, you don't have to factor all your invoices or this or that, but they'll in your contract, you'll notice you'll have to do $50,000 a month or $100K a month in order to get that rate. That's essentially, you have to factor all your invoices.
Correct.
Or, you're not going to get the rate.
Which is very important. Very, very, very important. I don't think
information, but we'll roll with it.
True. I'll add this as well. So a question that I like to ask if the carrier is saying they don't want to factor everything, in a nice way, I'm just going to ask why.
Right.
Because a lot of times there are things that are on the table that you could be factoring, but let's say you want to get a quick pay on it. And it's just like, you don't know that you could come to your factoring company and be like, hey, this company is offering me quick pay on this. Is there anything that you can do to compete or maybe help match at that level? And then in our situation, we might be able to look at that for you and say, hey, bring it to the table. Let's work out this deal. As well as some other companies say, hey, like this company, I've been working with them for X amount of time. I have a great relationship. I'm just going to leave it the way that it is. That's perfectly fine as well. The benefit that I see from factoring everything is you centralize your invoicing and you can go to one place. As I've seen over the last 6 years, working with many different brokers, they all have their different ways that they like to be invoiced. So it helps take the guessing game out of it for you when you're factoring everything in one location. You don't have to worry about, does this person care about originals? Does this person care about if it has to be formatted this way? Let us do all that work for you, and you just be able to submit the invoice and move on to your next load.
Right, because I know I've had to do get some loads, quick pay done for some loads that wasn't, that you guys didn't factor for me, but I was really nervous about running those loads. As a carrier, I was really nervous about running those loads. So I'm like, man, if I go all this way and I do not get paid for this load, I'm going to be highly upset. So that's something that a lot of carriers also have to deal with, in the back of their mind, running their companies. Like, oh man, we're going to try to run this load. But what we do is we go look at the reviews of the company on DAT load board. And then 5 people say, don't do it. We're not doing it. I know I'm not doing it. So.
We'll stick to the blue check marks.
Right, exactly. But I've had to do something because I've been in situations where I've seen a load. It was getting me back home. And I was like, I'm gonna take a chance, but I got paid for them. Luckily, I haven't ran into the issue to where I didn't get paid for any invoices. So,
absolutely.
I was gonna add, Vic, if you're in that situation, give us a call. Any carrier out there as well that works with OTR, if you're ever in a situation and a particular customer is on no-buy and you're just like, I'm in this area, like what am I doing? Give us a call. If it's somebody that we can work with, we'll try to help you in that situation. If it's a absolute no, then we're going to let you know why.
Right.
If we can help you out, we're going to try to. Our goal is to be able to say yes. So, give us a call. Any of our other clients that are listening as well, and you're in that situation, then give us a call. Give us a call first.
Right.
Before you get the load, so you don't get mad.
Right. You call OTR, like, hey man, you told me to call, and I'm calling you, and you can't do nothing for me. So, yeah, it makes sense. outside of cash flow, what other benefits does OTR provide for factoring companies in general?
Yeah. So I'll start and then I'll let Wade jump in. So first, what you've mentioned is going to be immediate cash flow. So no
Right.
more waiting 30 or 60, 90 days to get paid. You can get your money same day or next day. Outside of that, we've talked about it a little bit on the video, so I'll just mention it again. It's going to be monitoring your brokers, the debtors that you're working with. So the credit checks, how worthy are they? How good are they actually paying their bills? So that's going to be important. Outside of that, back office support, which is going to be huge here at OTR Capital. You have a dedicated team that's going to be helping you and a full collection department that's going to be working on recouping those funds. That's going to be a huge benefit. That alone right now is major sometimes when it comes to just that help, being able to get somebody on the phone and you knowing as well you have a relationship now with the person in-house that you call, and it's just like, hey, I'm going to talk to Gary every time, and I know he's looking for me. So that's huge. Outside of that, I mentioned this already, but taking the guessing game out of the billing. So there are different companies, there are different formats. Billing can look different depending on who you're working with. Some 3PLs like it this way, some direct shippers like it that way. We take the guessing game out of that for you. So it's a benefit. You don't have to worry about trying to figure it out and solving that long equation. Send it over to us and we'll handle that for you. Reduce cost in bookkeeping. So sometimes if you're going to be sending over paperwork to your CPAs, we're able to kind of format reports for you and send you totals or send you things that you might need to submit to them, which will save you time and money.
Very important. Very important. Yes.
Send it over as opposed to you having to go through and, man, how much did I do for this worker? How much did I do for it? We'll organize it and send it over to you. Outside of that as well, potentially reducing costs when it comes to staffing. So some of the larger fleets that we are working with, it could mean that you don't have to now go hire another accounting person because you have a partnership with a factoring company and you can save money there. So those are some of the immediate benefits that we see. Outside of that, just the years of knowledge and industry experience that we've been able to gain in the partnerships, DAT Load Board, and others that will come in the future that we're able to offer to our clients. Those are huge benefits that I see on my side.
And then, kind of it. And then on top of that, we also do have, a great fuel card program, right?
Yep.
A lot of other factory companies have fuel card programs. Some require you, say you can only use their fuel cards at this location or that location. Our fuel card happens to be open network, right? We have pretty relationships with almost, pretty much all the major truck stops across the industry. TA Petro is our biggest partner. I want to say that's 20 cents off the cash price per gallon with the TA Petro, but you can use, again, anywhere that accepts a MasterCard, that's where you can use our fuel card, right?
Okay.
So that's definitely something, that comes in handy on the fuel side of things. Tire discounts, all kinds of stuff on the fuel side, I would say as well. Another added benefit. And then also one of our sister companies is Marquis Insurance Group. So, you guys, as a new authority carrier, come up for renewal on the insurance side of things, we'll be able to they're an insurance broker. So they'll at least be able to kind of talk to you about what kind of needs you guys have and be able to put together an insurance program, for you in particular, instead of, throwing you in.
So that with that particular insurance company, that is after when your renewal comes around.
Well, no, you can reach out, beforehand. If you don't have insurance yet at all, definitely feel free to reach out. And then we'll definitely be able to send you guys over there.
Because I think the biggest thing that new carriers face is finding an insurance company. And it's only like maybe one or two that will insure brand new authorities. And Progressive is one of the bigger companies.
Yeah.
But when it comes to finding other companies, it's very, very difficult sometimes. And it's like everyone has to go to Progressive to get their insurance most times. And they're not cheap. They're not cheap. They're not cheap.
And not, So we can definitely, be able to, hook up any new kind of newer authorities. With Marquis Insurance. And,
that's important. That's very important to know because options is always good.
Absolutely. And I know, especially on the insurance side, they talk to the carriers. They want to know, what their needs are, and they'll put a program together for them as opposed to just saying you need this policy.
Right. Okay. That's good to know. Now, as far as signing up with OTR Capital, how difficult is it? How much paperwork is it? What's how do they sign up?
Yeah, I mean, I like to say it's very easy because I sign up carriers all the time, right? We just we just have a couple documents that we require. You get a little application. Typically, it takes I like to say our underwriting team takes maybe a day to get you guys fully set up. Articles of incorporation, basic things like driver's license, certificate of insurance, and a W-9.
Okay.
And get those over to us, and we pretty much get you guys up and running relatively quickly. Yeah.
Awesome.
We try not to make things too complicated.
For sure. Sure.
Well, not easy.
I mean, it's definitely very, very, very important to go with factoring companies. I've talked to carriers before that said that they don't need factoring, and I'm just looking like, well, how are you staying in business if you don't need factoring as a brand new business?
Absolutely.
I personally couldn't. It just doesn't make sense to me. You know, if I had maybe $2 million sitting around somewhere, then that would make sense. You know, as a new business, but you know, I need immediate funds. I need funds immediately once I complete a job out here.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely, we say that. We see that all the time. Like your truck breaks down. Where's that money at to repair your truck? Oh, correct. You got $30K in invoices that a broker's not going to pay you for another 45 days. Why not get that money immediately? And even if it's not OTR, right? You might find another program that fits you better. Just we'll be glad to even walk you through kind of those other contracts and kind of seeing which program might make sense for you as that new authority carrier, right? We're not going to force you guys obviously to come to OTR. We just want to be a resource for you.
Right.
Yeah. And I agree with Wade. Like, we understand that factoring is one solution. There are other solutions that you can go to, but like you're saying, Vic, if you don't have $200,000 sitting in the bank already, and you might need a little bit of capital, then I think this is a great solution if it works for you. Definitely weigh your options, weigh the pros and cons, and if it makes sense for your business model, then do it. Reach out to us as well if you want an educated specialist to help you look over some contracts or just answer any questions. We will do that for you, even if you're not our client. We understand that this is your business, and we want you making the best decisions to put yourself in position to succeed and to ultimately probably grow your company down the road. So let us know, and we'll definitely be here for you, OTR client or not.
Absolutely. I think that's big. That's it. That to me just says a lot for the company, period. That is willing to take time out of their busy schedules to even look over what you may have received from another competing company. Like, that's just, listen.
Yeah, we just want to make sure you
sign me up.
Y'all need to make that good decision.
It's all about life is about decisions. You're either gonna make the right ones or you're gonna make the wrong ones. So why not make, what I'm saying, at least put your best foot forward to make the right decision the first time.
I like it.
Because I was glad that I was patient and didn't rush into factoring because I had 200 factoring companies calling me.
Absolutely.
Because literally when we get these new authorities, everybody's calling you for you to sign up, look at their program, fuel cards, factoring, what else is there? ELD services.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much that comes at you. The minute you push the submit button to get your authority, your phone goes hammers. So it's important to, just to even be in the know, beforehand, before you make decisions, because I've talked to so many carriers and done consulting with so many new carriers that have already signed up with certain companies. And then when I talk to them, they're like, yeah, man, I'm in the contract. They said it's going to be, at least 6 months before I can get out of it, man. I wish I would have known.
Yep. Absolutely.
About being patient. It's about being patient, man. And really, it's kind of knowing and weighing out your options and not just jumping on the very first thing that comes your way. So I think this video is going to help so many new carriers that are looking to get, that just getting their authority started up and running. I just want to thank both of you guys for even taking the time out of your busy schedules to help me create this video so that people are more informed about the decisions that they're making when in terms of factoring, for their businesses out there.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
We definitely appreciate the time too. And like we said, even if outside of factoring, if you got any questions, if any of your followers got any questions, definitely just reach out to us. We'll be able to, we'll hop on the call and answer anything you guys might have.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And tell them as well, even before that, man, the biggest thing right now is education. If they're new to the space, new to the industry, make sure they're taking the time to educate themselves. Even like you're saying, being patient.
Right.
But also before you are patient, you need to make sure that you're researching and educating yourself before you jump into the market. Trucking is great right now. People are making a lot of money. Freight rates are at an all-time high. But what does that mean? How do you get in and how do you sustain yourself in this business? Not just like, hey, I'm gonna go get a truck.
Right.
And
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm making 6 figures next year. It's possible.
Right.
But, how you gonna do it? You gotta educate yourself if you're really
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it first. We have just sat down with OTR Capital, giants in this factoring space. And I hope you guys, if you have questions, please drop them down below in the comment section. I will provide a link down below because OTR has graciously handed me a beautiful link that you guys can click on and go right over to that landing page.
Come right to me. So you
come right to Wade. You'll be talking directly to Wade. Wade will be the one giving you a phone call to help you get started with OTR Capital as your factoring company home. That's it.
Bro. I appreciate it, brother.
I thank you guys.
Thanks, Vic.
Thank you.